Hey there riders, Moto Journo Kris here today, and I'm having a look at the ergonomics of Yamaha's XSR900. And as you can see here, this is a classically styled machine. It's like that neo-classic kind of thing. However, it's got that really aggressive power plant in it. And I guess for a lot of people, they'd be wondering, is this a cruiser and how am I going to fit on it? First off, 830mm seat height, so it's got a reasonably high seat height. That's more like a sports bike kind of seat height. If you compare that to the XSR900, which is kind of more cruiser, this is more sports bike, gives you a good point of comparison because this is definitely much sportier. However, with that said, it's still very comfortable in that kind of naked bike style. It's got a nice comfortable seat on it. 2 hours in the saddle is no issue whatsoever. It's got a bit of room for a pillion on it as well. The 830mm seat height I find is very manageable, but I'm also coming from sports bikes, and at 180 centimeters, that 830mm seat height to me is actually normal. That's what my Daytona has. And got an easy, relaxed reach to the pegs. You've got nice, really wide bars for plenty of leverage. Obviously, the controls are reasonably simple, even though this is a ride-by-wire machine. You've just got a simple dash, simple mirrors. You've got ride modes, you've got traction control. And while you'll commonly hear me say that you don't necessarily need those things on some bikes, with the MT09 power plant, it's aggressive enough that you do. Now, as far as those ergonomics, jumping on the bike, nice and comfortable. As I said, I'm 180 centimeters, I'm about 70 kilos. The suspension setup and everything works very well for me, and I do tend to fall inside kind of that range that I think a lot of the manufacturers are thinking when they design these setups. As you can probably see here, nice and really quite wide bars. That's something that you'll really notice. I don't feel like I'm aggressively stretched to them or anything like that. I'm nice and upright. It's a very easy reach to those bars. I'm on the leggier side at 180 centimeters, so that's one thing also to keep in mind. It may vary for you if you're different kind of proportions. And overall, it's a very comfortable machine. Like I said, 2 hours in the saddle, cruising around, having a bit of a fang, no issues whatsoever. The ride triangle, very relaxed. The seat is nicely padded. It's kind of got a nice bit of width to it, particularly at the rear, while it's narrow right down between the legs, which make it easier to reach the ground, much easier to reach the pegs and obviously put a foot down and get that bike, nicely balanced. I can get both feet down flat to the ground quite easily. There are no issues with that at all. And again, I am repeating myself, but I'm 180 centimeters as a point of comparison, and I'm just wearing kind of a normal motorcycle boot with quite a small sole on it. So I'm not adding a heap of height to or heap of reach with that. Apart from that, you're getting an adjustable brake lever, non-adjustable clutch lever. There's not really much else to it. There's not much wind protection because it's a naked bike. Obviously, simple dash, very easy to see for, pretty much everything. And you've got a bit of adjustability through the suspension. You've got rebound adjustability on the front, and you've got preload and rebound on the rear. So if you're, different weights, you'll be able to work within that system a little bit. But I do have to say, as you'll probably see in my full review, it's a nicely set up package that I find is a good all-rounder. A couple of other points to mention: it's 196 kilos, feels very light once you're moving, which is something that is definitely helped by that MT09 power plant, which has got plentiful power and torque, and it's a beautiful triple. Apart from that, 14-litre tank, so it's on the smaller side for the tank. You're also getting a very road-orientated level of travel from the front forks with 130 mils of travel, and you've got 137 mils on the rear from that shock with 135 millimeters of ground clearance overall. So very road-orientated on this machine, and I very much doubt this would be the kind of machine that you'd look at lowering too much because there's not much room to do so really at the end of the day. But overall, really comfortable machine. I think if you're really on the short side, you might find this is a little bit more of a challenge. For me, at 180 centimeters, very easy bike to manage, obviously as an experienced rider, and this is not a machine for new riders. It's got a lot of power and it's got a lot of performance, but if you're thinking about perhaps moving from, say, like an MT07 or an R3 or an MT03 onto one of these, nice relaxed seating position, heaps of performance. You'll really notice that in the kind of upgrade department. Beautiful styling, really nice finish quality, and a really cool machine overall. So if you've got any questions about the ergonomics of this bike, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to sub, hit that notification bell. As always, stay safe out there, and thanks for watching.